Greetings, ladies and gents, and welcome to this narration of the web series Humans Don't Make Good Familiars. If you're new to the series, there is a playlist listed in the description. And as always, I hope that you enjoy. Lieutenant Datahu's point of view. An unwelcome revelation. That's how I would describe it. Not just for Suma and her familiar, Sentinel, but for the kingdom of Ambos as a whole. Zachariah, an actual Viking, and the familiar of the mage who founded our country, still lives. Not only that, though, he has somehow transcended his mortality and gained unknown powers that allow him to cast spells that have been unavailable to him. He was a chaos mage, but by implanting his memories and even a portion of his own soul, he has demonstrated the ability to use both order and chaos magic alike. "What is your assessment, Datahu?" the Major asked. We were perched in his private quarters, talking about Sentinel and the newly revealed Zachariah. It was night, so we had a fire spell active to see. It didn't illuminate the whole room, but we could see each other well enough. An added bonus was that the fire kept the night's cold air at bay as well. "On which, sir?" I replied. "Either, both. Regarding this, Zachariah, I don't know enough yet. From what I do know, I would say it doesn't make sense." "Agreed. How can someone use both order and chaos magic? It should be impossible. Even among the dragons, using both in a single individual would seem impossible," he said, agitated. "At least according to the stories, anyway," I pointed out. "What are you suggesting?" "Perhaps we were wrong, or perhaps the truth was lost to time. The dragons have been gone for centuries, and the death dragon has been gone even longer. Over time, stories get retold, twisted, even forgotten. So our history may not have happened like we believed. It is possible," he said softly, and nodded his head. "Do you have any theories?" "None, sir." "What of Sentinel? The fight against him went well for you. Do you have an assessment of him?" "I do." "I would like to hear it." "In my opinion, Sentinel may be the most dangerous threat this world has faced in 1,000 years. "Really? But you won the fight." He sounded surprised. In reality, he was the one who actually requested the fight. When Sentinel first arrived at the base, the Major told me to find an opportunity to have a bout with him. He wanted to know how strong he was, and if he could be defeated. "I did win, but I believe it was mere circumstance or luck," I said. "How so?" "A bout is not an effective method of judging an opponent's strength. Sentinel was bound by several rules and regulations that prevented him from utilizing his most dangerous spells." "As were you," the Major pointed out. "Yes, but I also have decades of experience and was raised from birth to be a mage. Sentinel had none of that." "So you are saying you think that in a real fight that he could beat you?" the Major asked. "I'm saying that I would pray to the dragons that Sentinel would not want to fight me." "Why?" "Because I would never even see him." "Are you referring to the events of the entrance exam?" During the exam, Sentinel had used a spell he had only seen once, and with such force that it nearly killed everyone present, despite it being a long-range spell, which we are typically weaker. "I am. But not only that. During our fight, Sentinel launched several attacks at me, one of which was a purple ball of flames." "Yes, I saw that. It was harrowing, like watching a bad dream suddenly become reality, or a monster in a child's tale take from in front of me." "That was one of the most powerful attacks that has ever been directed at me. It took everything I had to redirect it. After that, flying caused me incredible pain. I tore several muscles in my wings, and was forced to fight from the ground until I was able to cast a healing spell," I explained. "Was it truly that strong?" "I'm fully convinced that if it had connected with me, I would have died. The same is true for all the Sentinel's attacks during our bouts. Even an attack generated by a simple rune knocked me out of the air as if it was nothing. For him, it was a simple bout, but I was fighting to stay alive." "I'll be sure to have a talk with Sentinel. He was supposed to be holding back during the bout," the Major said, standing a bit upset. "He was holding back, sir. The spells he used were all scaled-down versions of spells I have seen him use several times during training, and according to reports from several of his squad members from his tenure at boot camp, he has produced spells even larger than the ones he has displayed here." "So you believe that you would lose to his overwhelming strength?" "I do. But if it were an up-close fight, I believe I would stand a chance. However, as previously stated, I doubt that I would get the other opportunity." "His long-ranged attacks," the Major said. "His specialty," I said, "but not his only attribute." "His chaos magic," the Major said, with his concern showing clearly. "And his physical strength. I landed several solid attacks to his back, and held back, of course, but even with that, I would have still expected to have seen more damage. Those metal garments of his are truly formidable, and I can only imagine how much they weigh, yet he's able to move around surprisingly quickly while wearing them, I said. I'd heard that he was quite slow, the Major said. His travelling speed is atrocious, but his combat movement speed is a bit faster. He is still rather sluggish, but I wonder how much faster he would be if he were not wearing those garments. And all of this is why you believe him to be so dangerous. The ability to deal massive attacks from beyond our striking range, a constitution able to withstand the attacks of an average mage, and access to magic so dangerous that it is illegal in almost every country on Atmosia. Yes, sir. Sentinel is dangerous. What is your recommendation, Datahu? The Major asked. We take advantage of his one weakness. Which is? His master, Suma. Sentinel will continue to follow the orders of his master, so as long as we maintain a good relationship with her, Sentinel will remain our ally. Jake's point of view. I was at home in my apartment, lying in bed. In my hands was all the magic I was able to muster while still on Earth. A single navy blue orb about the size of a golf ball. Over a year of training and practice, and this was all I was able to create outside of Suma's world. If I switched to a new method of using my own internal mana instead of mana I collected from the environment, then the orb turns purple and gets smaller. Coincidentally, about the size of a grape. If I try to summon any of my weapons or my armor, nothing happens, but I do get a feeling that I'm getting close sometimes. I let the orb dissipate and pulled out my phone from my pocket to call my mum. Hello, she answers. Hey Mum, just calling to let you know I'm home now, I said. My, you stayed rather late tonight, didn't you? Yeah, sorry for not telling you, but we met with a specialist to figure out what has been going on with me. A specialist? Did they find out anything? Yeah, Mum, they did. Apparently their faming figure guy was the cause, I said. Do they know what he did? Yeah. He shoved a bunch of memories into my head, and a piece of his soul, too. You know, Jake, I've heard you say some pretty strange things in the last few months, but I think that may have been right up there with when you told me that you worked for a bird, my mum said, in a unique mix of dry sarcasm and motherly concern. Do they know how to fix it? Not yet, but they said the portion of his soul he put into me might simply go away on its own. Oh, okay. Does that mean he'll die? She asked. I asked the same thing, but apparently no. Then what will happen to him? They don't know. They haven't ever seen something like this before. Apparently it used to be a fairly well-known thing, but it stopped being used a long time ago, I explained. Our conversations have gotten a lot stranger than they used to be, haven't they? Mum pointed out. I laughed a little and agreed. I explained a bit more about what happened and the results of Suma's dive. Since she hadn't had a severe reaction to the memories, they figured that what she experienced was most likely a kind of overflow from me. After spending a little while talking, we hung up. It was about 8 o'clock right now, and I was starving. I made a sandwich and sat on my couch to watch some TV. I expected to have a quiet night at home, but maybe that was hoping for too much, because a few moments after I finished my sandwich, there was a knocking at my door. I got up to see who it was. Hello, I said through the closed door. Are you Mr. Jake Vandal? The voice outside said. It was a man's voice. I looked through the peephole and saw two people in officers' uniforms. We are with the HMRC, Her Majesty's Revenue and Customs. We need to have a word with you, sir. End of chapter. I would quickly like to thank the T5 channel members and Patreons. Caspar Arnholtz, Cam Maxwell, Barky, Lord Azrakal, It's Difficult to Pronounce, Dragzoon WRE, Holly's Sister, Arcadian. Thank you very much.